something just incredibly like offensively leisurely, right? I would not be bothered with cultivating any kind of public persona. Like, get out of here, you would not find me. But look, there's all these reports too that members of Gen Z, the younger generation, even some millennials, would rather be influencers rather than doctors and have these online personas and personalities. And that is, whatever you think of that, you have to assume that at least part of the reason why that lifestyle is so appealing is because they get some kind of freedom from living that way, right? They don't have to answer to a boss. They can work from home. They can work on their own time, all these different things. It makes sense from that perspective, right? You make money on your own time, on your own terms. Why is Elon Musk live streaming his video game play? He literally does not need to be doing any of this. And in the means, like part of me is like, it's better that he's doing that instead of like destroying our government, but he's doing both. And
yeah,
it's not, neither of them are good. None of it's good. I wish he would just go away. I don't want anything bad to happen to him, but I would just like him to not be all of our problems anymore. Like when I say all of, I mean the entire world has to deal with Elon Musk right now, and it's very irritating.
Just go play video games. You could literally do that. You create an island sanctuary where you just play video games, and maybe with enough practice, you could actually be good enough to get out of that tutorial stage. Anyway, okay, well, that's all the time we have. Unfortunately, we'll make fun of Elon Musk more maybe tomorrow on the show. We got a couple topics to return to. So a lot of news already out there. There will certainly be more for Big News Wednesday with Sharon, so you're not gonna miss that. For now, though, Yaz, as always, it's a pleasure to have you here.
Very happy to be here. Oh yes, you can find me at Rebel HQ on the YouTube channel over there, and then also on Instagram at Yaz KYAZZZZZK 5 Z's.
Nice.
There it is.
Awesome. Everyone, follow her. Thank you for being here. We'll see you next time. But for now, stay safe out there. Stay sane out there. See you soon.
Welcome. This is Indisputable with Dr. Rashad Ritchie. Honored that Doc, for some reason, does he know that I fill in for him when he's not here a lot of times? If not, don't tell him. I'm going to try to behave. Jackson, I feel like Jackson White is here, politics and paper, and just all around good human. We were talking about you before you got on the call
I hope
to
you were
do the
saying
show.
good things.
Excellent things.
Good.
Okay.
Good.
I said, I love this guy. He's carefree. He's a good citizen, though, too. He cares about the world around him. So
I make a lot of mistakes, but I do my best.
That's great. I read something that said making mistakes is great. You should tell your children, future children, go ahead and make mistakes. It's only going to make you stronger. Just learn from them.
And sometimes you got to learn painful lessons through mistakes that you make, but hopefully they can make you better.
That's right. I don't want to learn any more painful lessons, and I don't want you to either, but it is true. People who've never been battle tested, I am a little funny about them, okay? I like people who make a comeback, okay? They were facing adversity, and then they said, you know what? I'm gonna do this thing, and they get it together. I root for them. Anyway, what do you say we begin?
Let's do it.
Because there's this guy that keeps targeting institutions that he believes are so woke. You know who it is. You know who it is. So let's call it out. Harvard, UCLA, Stanford, experiencing student visa revocations. Let's give you the report, the details from ABC News.
The Trump administration is revoking visas for some international students at colleges and universities across the country. One of those possibly affected is a Duke University freshman from South Sudan and a star of this season's March Madness tournament. Some students have been targeted over pro-Palestinian activism, but for others, it's unclear.
Schools in Massachusetts, Ohio, Kentucky, Minnesota, Colorado, among those nationwide announcing yanked visas. And in California, schools including Stanford, Berkeley, and UCLA saying some of their students are also affected. Secretary of State Marco Rubio also announcing yesterday, I am taking actions to revoke all visas held by South Sudanese passport holders effective immediately, alleging South Sudan hasn't been taking back their own citizens in a timely manner.
What we're learning right now is that students and universities, they're already learning and finding out in real time, basically, Phil, with little to no warning. Essentially, the State Department is deciding what countries' visas to revoke, and they're doing so immediately.
Little Marco Rubio towing the line there, if you will. Who thought he was going to be great? Just because he wasn't as bad as the others, okay? But I get it. In order to stay, you have to play. Let's give you the rest of this. According to the New York Times, nearly 300 international students were abruptly stripped of their ability to stay inside the United States. Recent days, this has happened, according to universities and media reports, sowing fear amongst students, confusion at schools, scrambling to help those students facing detention, possible deportation. Now, the move targets students at a wide range of universities, from private institutions like Harvard, Stanford, to public ones too. University of Texas at Austin, Minnesota State, University Mankato. University of California had dozens of cases reported across its campuses. You can't think that's a mistake. You know how he feels about California, okay? Several immigration lawyers told the New York Times that they began receiving frantic emails and calls late last week from students who had been notified by the State Department or their universities that their visas or statuses had been terminated. No clear justifications. Criminal convictions have always put students at risk of losing their status, but participation in political actions and, committing, a traffic infraction, rarely cited as justification here. But these are different times. Some cases, immigration officers have arrested international students related to their involvement in pro-Palestinian causes. In other cases, students have committed legal infractions, such as driving over the speed limit or while intoxicated. Often years ago, several immigration lawyers said in interviews, lawyers said the Trump administration had often given no reason at all, leaving them to guess why students were seemingly targeted. Miriam Feldblum, chief executive of the President's Alliance on Higher Education and Immigration, which represents more than 570 public and private colleges and universities across the country, said this upends all usual practice by government. They are terminating students' statuses in a way they've never done before and with virtually no explanation and little recourse to correct or appeal by either the institution or the students. Late last month, speaking of little Marco Rubio, Secretary of State ordered diplomats to scour the social media postings of some visa applicants to keep away from the country those suspected of criticizing the United States and Israel. Is this here, or was he thinking that he was going to infiltrate what's going on in China? Because I believe they regulate their internet access. So this is in America, this is going on, apparently. Keep away from the country those suspected of criticizing the US and Israel. State Department and the Department of Homeland Security did not immediately respond to messages seeking comment. Well, why not? You're protecting us. There's a panic here. You've got to get these people out of here. You're protecting us. BS, all of it, and sick too. Sicko behavior. Last month, Mahmoud Khalil, recent Columbia University graduate student who was involved in pro-Palestinian activism during campus protests last year, was arrested at his apartment and sent to Louisiana for possible deportation, despite being a permanent resident. If you're trying to scare us, it's working. Shortly after, Mesa Öztürk, a Tufts University student from Turkey, detained by masked agents from U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement while she was on the way to meet friends. Ms. Öztürk, who had written a pro-Palestinian opinion essay, was also taken to Louisiana, where every detainee says, "Ooh, I want to go to Louisiana. I heard there's great facilities down there." Not by design. Moves aimed at the international students fit with the Trump administration's broader policy agenda, reducing the number of immigrants, both legal and undocumented, forcing universities to crack down on what the president says is rampant anti-Semitism on campuses. The United States issued more than 400,000 visas to students in 2024. Some of the students targeted recently had committed offenses like speeding or driving while intoxicated. Sounds like American-born kids sometimes. Not condoning it. Have you gone over the speed limit? I have a bit of a lead foot, so I know what my fate would be. But baby gotta get to where she's going, okay? This is not justified. They said, the lawyers, that such offenses did not ordinarily rise to deportation. Without a visa, an international student becomes undocumented, just like that, and must leave the US or risk being detained and placed in deportation proceedings. Several attorneys said that they had clients who had opted to leave the country out of fear that they could be arrested by agents from ICE, Homeland Security Agency charged with carrying out Mr. Trump's pledge of mass deportations. Now, some of the affected students are graduate students who have doctoral dissertations that they are supposed to defend next month. Others are undergraduates. Still others have completed their studies. They've been working in the United States under a special program that allows recent international graduates to remain in the country for up to 3 years if employed. Harvard advised international students last week during a webinar to think carefully about traveling abroad, according to the Harvard Crimson. That's the student newspaper. Staff also warned students that pro-Palestinian speech could be risky. Jeez. It sounds like this is the kind of talk they give you before you go on your overseas trip to China. Okay, be careful what you say. The same freedoms don't exist there. Be careful what you write, text, whatever. They're watching you. Marco Rubio is saying, watch their social media. My God, we're here. It's happening. It has happened. During the webinar, Jason Corral, an attorney, said there seemed to be a change from President Trump's first term, according to the Crimson. The difference is we have seen situations where it seems as though people's visas are being revoked simply based on their speech or protest, he said. On Monday, a letter sent to Michael Drake, the president of the University of California, and others by the Council of University of California Faculty Association, said the university should help students who had been targeted arguing it had a moral obligation to protect students and scholars' legal rights. The fact that somebody had to write that letter is astonishing. But these big institutions, and you could say protecting their bottom line, their endowments, they're afraid. Everyday people are afraid. Would you like to be that young lady, Tufts University, grabbed off the street, sent somewhere, nobody knew where she was for a time, her family can't get a hold of her by people in masks, okay? She didn't know who they were. Jackson, this is already out of hand. We get it. He couldn't find enough. It was all a lie. He couldn't find enough so-called violent criminals, right? When he came down that escalator all those years ago, he's still with us here. And I don't mean with us, I mean like he's still interfering and stuff, like breathing. He came down that escalator, Jackson, and he said, they're bringing drugs, something about rape, murder. And it turns out, and this is where you get into this thing where people say, well, there are murders. We didn't say there were none. I'm saying, Jackson, there's not enough to fill up everything he's talking about. There are enough, though, to have our farmers who understand and we hope appreciate what others bring to this country. And programs like, hey, you can stay 3 years after graduation because, you know, we educated you here, so why not enjoy your gifts, your beautiful mind, your resources? Shouldn't we get something for that? Am I being selfish as an American? What do we do about this? And why would anybody have to beg these higher institutions, not all of them, but some of them have capitulated, to push back?
Well, you know, really, as I was looking at this story, you know, before we got on the show, and really a lot of what I was thinking as you were laying this out is that first and foremost, these people clearly don't care what the public thinks. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, whether it's this or the fact that the Trump administration is currently absolutely obliterating the stock market and creating an environment to where people really aren't going to want to invest while he's in office. And I say all that to say, just, you know, the firing thousands of people, defying the courts when they say you can't do this. And they don't care what the public thinks. Now, on the one hand, that's a very bad position for all of us to be in because of the rise of authoritarianism. But on the other hand, they have a serious problem because how long can you really keep this up without Donald Trump? The Republican Party doesn't have anybody else who commands the type of devotion and just the strong following that Donald Trump has. JD Vance can't command the Republican Party to do anything. Nobody else that's in the Republican wing can command the party. So I say that to say, for all the damage that these people are undoubtedly going to are causing and will continue to cost over the next 4 years, what's next? You know, like unless they just completely make it so that we can't vote, because at this pace, unless our votes just don't count, a Republican's not going to become president next go round. It's not happening. I mean, like you can't destroy the economy and destroy everything, and it's not going to happen unless they just make it so that our votes just flat out don't count. So this is a bad situation for the whole country to be in, because the status quo, the establishment, the way this thing works, it's totally broken. It's completely broken. And, you know, hopefully the people can rise up and the public can rise up enough to fix it. But, you know, you just kicking people out because they're criticizing you. Like, how far can you really take this? And that's the bad position for us to be in.
So you started and ended with how much longer can we sustain this? And I think you're right. People rising up. We saw all those people take to the streets in American cities. They looked all shapes, different sizes, ages, okay? Colors. Here's the fear. When you have major law firms, when you think of a lawyer, trust me, I made a baby with one. All they like to do is fight. She's 13 and you're still fighting. Okay, I'm done. When I'm done with you, I'm done. Okay, I pivoted into relationships, but here's what I mean. Okay, what was I saying? Listen, if you have lawyers and these institutions, you know how much money Harvard has? I hear about the billions being taken away. Do you know they're not going to run out of money? These people, and I'm not saying they have yet, Harvard, they capitulate. And I wonder if those of us who have no power, except for one woman, one man, one vote, can even make it to an election before these dictators take away everything. It's happened in other countries. We've seen it. Is it that far-fetched? But I will say you're right, and I'll give you the last word. You are right about Donald Trump. Vance, he can't even get people off a signal. I mean, you know he knew. And he was scared. He just was like, man, whatever, man. This is dumb, but okay, I'll go along with it. Okay, Elon's not a citizen and everybody hates him and his cars now. So you're right, but for some reason, these bums can't get their acts together in Congress or something, just overthrow him. And maybe it's too late because he's captured the court, he's captured law enforcement, he's fired all the generals. Can't you take the ex-generals, get them together? And I'm not saying a coup, but I'm saying when you get impeached, evicted, whatever, can't you create a thoughtful action plan to protect democracy and the people's will? I'll give you the last word as promised.
Yeah, again, it really is a problem because it's like, it's an agenda without a plan. You know what I mean? An agenda and a plan are not the same thing. And that's really what the Trump administration is. Project 2025 and the typical Republican agenda is the agenda, but they're just a bunch of chickens with their heads cut off. And again, like seriously, like what are y'all gonna, like Trump's 80. Like they act like this dude is 40 something, 50 something, 60 something. No, this man is 80. He's tired. He survives on a diet of Big Macs, Diet Coke, and whatever the hell else, and spite and pettiness and narcissism. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So like what and it's just really unfortunate that so many people have to be the collateral damage of something that's already failed. These people have already failed. Like they're not. The country's not gonna go back to how it was in the 50s. Women aren't going back in the kitchen. You're not gonna stop this country from being more and more brown. You've lost. Y'all been lost. Unfortunately, a lot of people have to, but an agenda without a plan. That's all this is.
Belongs on a t-shirt. I'm not cooking nothing either. So you're right. We're not going back. But it's scary, and it's getting scarier by the day. You're either going to fight or capitulate, and I'm not going to capitulate, okay?
No.
Let's move on, because these people in these robes, these antiquated long robes, they really ticked me off. As I was looking at the shot of SCOTUS, not all of them, Kagan, Ketanji, I rock with you. But I looked at it and I thought, I wish I could go back in time to when I was a child and put one of those fart machines under each one of them. Okay, and they go to sit down and hear the arguments and let it rip. That's what they deserve. My daughter had this
Clarence
spray.
Thomas.
That's right. And you would spray it and you'd instantly, she used to use it at Christmas time at my sister's house, which made her really mad. You'd think someone passed gas. It was awful. That's what they deserve. This is where my mind goes. We'll give you the update. SCOTUS delays the deadline to fix the mistaken deportation. It's so ridiculous to even call it that. Administrative error. Oh, his life's at stake. Update in a new update regarding the Maryland man with protected legal status who was sent to the notorious prison in El Salvador following an administrative error. SCOTUS has delayed the midnight deadline for Trump administration to fix mistaken deportation of Maryland man. There's no emergency here. Whatever. Supreme Court Chief Justice John Spineless Roberts on Monday issued a temporary administrative stay, putting off a Monday midnight deadline for the government to return a mistakenly deported Maryland man to the US, giving the court more time to consider the arguments presented by both sides. Didn't we hear a lot of those arguments? The one who argued for the government must have been his first day on the job because he couldn't do it, couldn't tap dance or anything. He just begged out and now he's on administrative leave. He's going to be fired, okay? Because he couldn't articulate this tomfoolery on behalf of the government. Trump administration has asked the Supreme Court for emergency intervention in the case of Gilmar Armando Abrego Garcia, who the government, by its own admission, removed to El Salvador by mistake. Supreme Court requested a response to Trump's request from Garcia's attorneys by 5 p.m. on Tuesday. ABC News filling in some details. In the filing earlier Monday, Trump administration Solicitor General D. John Sauer argued that a federal court cannot order a president to engage in foreign diplomacy, which he says is implicitly involved in any potential return of Kilmar Armando Abrego Garcia, who the Trump administration alleges is a gang member. And we're telling you, we can't believe anything you say. You got to show us some concrete proof, which if you had it, you would be doing that. You'd be doing it. Abrego Garcia, despite having protected legal status, was sent to the notorious CCOT mega prison in El Salvador following what the government said was an administrative error. Last month, Abrego Garcia, whose wife is a US citizen and who has a 5-year-old child, was stopped by ICE officers who had informed him that his immigration status had changed. What is this costing us? Just follow people around and just swipe them right off the street or from their homes. According to his attorneys, that happened. He was detained and then transferred to a detention center in Texas before being sent to El Salvador because that was necessary. We paid for the planes. The appeal to the Supreme Court came Monday morning just before the U.S. Court of Appeals for the Fourth Circuit reaffirmed Friday's ruling by U.S. District Judge Paula Zinnia that Abrego Garcia must be returned by Monday, 11:59 p.m. Eastern time. Okay. Fourth Circuit Court of Appeals rejected the Trump administration's emergency motion to block the order to return Abrego Garcia to the U.S. ABC News reporting that U.S. Circuit Judge Robert King and U.S. Circuit Judge Stephanie Thacker said if the government wanted to prove that the Maryland man who was sent to El Salvador was a prominent member of MS-13, they had ample time to do so, but has not even bothered to try. Doesn't that tell you something there? That should tell you everything. Government has made no effort to demonstrate that Abrego Garcia is in fact a member of any gang, said King and Thacker. So now they're getting into the material stuff. This was an administrative error, protected legal status. And by the way, based on what we've seen, he's not even a gang member, MS-13. These federal judges who, they love to lock people up. Let's face it. Let's not act like, 10 minutes ago, we'd be saying the judge is this, the judge is that. This isn't fair, RICO, whatever. Now they're all that's left. And are they really left, Jackson? Because you got Mr. I get free Winnebagos and trips up there, Clarence. Clarence. And his friend, well, it was the friend with the upside down flag. I don't want to remember their name. Who's the friend with the upside down flag wife? Him. I'm sure they have lunch together.
I think that was Alito.
They have lunch together every day and they talk about things like, can you believe black people? This is in my fantasy world. Don't come after the network. Okay. I just think I know this type, okay? I went to school with some of these people. Not them specifically, but I know the type. I better turn it over to you because I'm rambling. I'm just so angry. I just can't stand the sight of them.
Yeah, I just favors for the Trump administration. That's all this is. Like, oh, you guys made a horribly incompetent mistake. Well, we're going ahead and let you not have to pay the brunt of that. But see, the thing is that we're not dealing with like personal issues. Like, oh no, we're dealing with people's lives. You know what I'm saying? Like these mistakes are massive. And again, just in terms of the incompetence. None of this would be talked about. None of this would be an issue. Nobody will be bringing up any of this if y'all didn't deport people who are supposed to be here. You know what I mean? Like you could just have a massive deportation effort to get undocumented immigrants out of the country because there are a lot of them here. Now, we know that they pay a lot of money in taxes. We know that they work jobs that American citizens don't want to work. We know that the economy depends on these people. Nonetheless, if you kicked out these undocumented people, at least you have the argument, well, they're undocumented. They've been here for 8 years too long. They're not supposed to be here. But you don't have an argument for kicking out the wrong people. And instead of being like, oh, we made a mistake, horrible mistake, bring this guy back in, you're like, nah, just keep him there, who cares? Which makes them look even more incompetent and more ridiculous because this country's being ran by a bunch of clueless, narcissistic children. Yeah. And the Supreme Court is filled up with people who are just collecting benefits, taking vacations, getting tricked on by billionaires. So, it's the corruption once again.
Yeah, they have that little meet and greet that you pay a lot of money for. And we discovered after some time, oh, they're rubbing shoulders with the billionaires, and ProPublica or whoever it was recording. And it's just such a sickness. If I were Ketanji and Sotomayor, I would, and Kagan, probably just stay in I'd work from home. Is there any way I could work from home all the time? Because I don't even want to breathe the same air, okay? It's really that bad. Jackson White, Politics and Paper, St. Louis favorite, making the city proud. I had fun in St. Louis. We're happy to have you. Here. Yeah, it's a lot to do there. Have you run into Nelly? How about Larry Hughes, ex-basketball player?
I ran into nobody like that since I've been back here, but I have been eating a lot of good food. That's good. St. Louis
Wish
has a
Sweetie
ton of
Pies
great
was
food.
still open. Anyway, I'm gonna pick up the pace, and I'm going to. I don't believe I should pop Adderall, but I will get focused, and we'll get into more, including one of them Karens popping up, doing what Karens do when we come right back.
Damn it, they failed us. And if you're not angry about that, Michael, and any of you out there, then you're damn wrong, because you should be angry. Young Turks.
It was genuine. He was mad. Cenk Uygur, known online as one of the Young Turks, isn't afraid to throw some punches.
3, 2, 1, fade up.
Cenk the Turk Uygur.
What kind of TV station is this? The whole point is for me to yell and scream and tell you what I think.
It was right out of like Wayne's World.
This guy on this little rinky-dink website is speaking truth to power.
We've been averaging 600,000 views a day, beating most of the cable shows in America.
We're the largest online news show in the world.
We're celebrating our 1 billionth view.
Television, we're coming.
More politics ahead with Cenk Uygur.
He knew that the MSNBC opportunity was an experiment.
If Phil and host beat CNN and headline news combined, at some point, they want to give me a show.
Every single year, that comes out of our paycheck. We put it in, and you're saying we were suckers.
When you, as a host, tells someone you're interviewing to shut up, that's going to raise a red flag.
That guy needed a tall glass of shut up juice.
If President Obama's doing the wrong thing, I'm not going to tell you that he's doing the right thing so I can, quote, support him.
He says to me, you won't believe the meeting that I just had.
The head of MSNBC talked to me.
And they want him off the air.
Cenk took an incredible risk.
We're supposed to challenge the government. That's the role of the media.
The Democrats and the Republicans are here to screw you. And who on the air is saying it?
I wouldn't have done what he did.
That if I'm going to be a talk show host, I should be the biggest talk show host in the country. I don't think anyone else does it better. I don't think anyone's even close.
Before you know it, I'll be back on your TV doing a national show. I guarantee it.
Magic. It's showtime. And say 45 minutes. I'm hosting today. Now I know what you're thinking, JR, your face is already perfect, but you know what? I still need to apply some makeup. I went through this process, right? A few years ago. When I realized that I was gonna have to wear makeup on the show, I had to go through like finding out what my undertones were. You guys know what those are? I got my MAC Cosmetics. It says SPF 15 foundation, broad spectrum. But apparently what I have is red undertones, and I think pores are not supposed to be seen. I need all these things to be confirmed for me. These sponge things don't work for me. You gotta use your hands. At least I do. That's how the magic really happens. So we're gonna go through a tutorial. How to make the magic happen from beautiful to beautifuler. Let's go. I've already been moisturized. That's the first thing. But moisturization already happened. We go raw. All hands. Pick up a couple streaks. This is the guy way of putting on makeup. Look at that, dots. There's some shiny points that generally happen. First of all, here we go. You dust here. I'm putting way too much, but you dust. Oh, get the excess off. You don't want chunky powder. There's like a T-zone, I think, right? Mine is a double T-zone. Because I went middle and another cross. Make sure your nose isn't all shiny. People get on you for it. You don't say, that's not a good point you made on there, JR. Your nose is shiny. You guys are picky like that sometimes. I think that's about it, fellas and ladies. See you guys next time. Bitsies.
Welcome to Indisputable. Sharon Reed alongside Jackson White. Doc has the day off, so he's kindly let us fill some of this airtime. We're happy that you're with us. Let me get to some of your comments. TYT members first. Donald James, X, member for 33 months. We really appreciate you. Also, Nick, the Silver Flame Dragon, appreciate your contributions greatly. By now, it's pretty obvious that Trump is running on the human health equivalent of vibes and duct tape. Hopefully he runs out of both sooner than later. Salvi Dragon says, here in America, a kid can drive drunk, kill 4 people, and because the judge is a family friend, get no jail time because of affluenza. Remember that crazy kid? Oh, I should get off because my parents gave me too much, and the judge agreed. Crazy. Also in America, we can deny students their visas because of minor infractions. We live in the upside down. Yeah, we do. Kaladin, I will accept the false deportations only if Trump and his people are deported to El Salvador and out of our jurisdiction. Lovely. One more for you. Let's give you some of our YouTube members. Now, you know what? We'll get to you guys in just a little bit. I want to give you this one. Okay. Trump Leol? Oh, pronounced Trump Loy, now that I put my glasses on. Well, I've never imagined the SCOTUS would keep using delay tactics to break the Constitution, creating ways around the courts. They delayed before that POTUS immunity ruling too. Damn, that sour guy. I see thanks to old England lawyers. They can argue and win a case for Hitler. Okay, we'll let that stand where it is. It's gonna stand right there. We're gonna park that right there, okay? You're allowed to say what you wanna say. Sometimes, okay? And then other times you're gonna say what you wanna say, but nobody really appreciates it unless they have an affinity for that kind of person who's beyond reproach, thinks they can get away with anything, and the world revolves around them. And now I'm not talking about teenagers. I'm talking about these people who infect and inflict things in our lives. They are terrors, okay? They are domestic pest to which there is no seeming cure and no spray. I don't like to use that spray. It stinks and it pollutes the air. But in this case, the pollution is clear. I wish a Karen would.
You want to call the police on them for having a barbecue on a Sunday.
You're still free! Back off!
I'm going to tell them there's an African-American man threatening my life.
As people, so I can really hope you and die! Seriously, choke on your seafood! You've never given anyone a cash tip in your life, and you know it, you hood rat!
You can come better than that. Come on. You got something better than that.
No, I don't.
Oh, poor thing.
You're not going to bait me into saying the N-word.
Oh, you don't have to say the N-word. I'm sure you can come up with something more creative.
Nope, I'm saying you're indignant. You're a fat, ugly, indignant. And that's coming from a than you.
Ooh, child, little do you know.
And the insults, he broke out into song. He carried a tune. What could possibly make someone go so rogue, so outlandish? It was as if he had a breakdown. I'm just going to keep it a buck, okay? Well, I'll tell you. Encounter here. A male Karen DoorDasher went on that rant on a customer. Why? Why so upset? Well, the poster of the video wrote, "I just had the scariest experience with a DoorDasher. It all started with me not tipping on my card and wanting to do a cash tip. Well, I would think that people would appreciate the cash." What did he call her? Who did he say that
hood
she's
rat
still?
B word. He called her a
And then he
hood rat
mentioned
B.
her weight and said somebody else was still skinnier. I missed that part.
He was like, and that's coming from a 300-pound B word who's somehow still skinnier than you. He was like singing. It was like he was singing the insults. He was like, you've never tipped anybody in your life. And you know that, like, he waking up the whole neighborhood. Like,
but Jackson,
everybody gonna know, but right.
It was cute, but shouldn't we be concerned? And listen, when people act like this, I'm worried about the person they're inflicting it on, but she seemed to be okay, although later referencing it's scary. But shouldn't we be concerned about this Karen in the community? This Karen is, we could say they're all unwell, but this Karen is particularly unwell, no?
Yes, particularly. I didn't know if you was setting that out for me, but yes, for me. Yes, particularly unwell, but that was still a fun one. You know what I'm saying? Like, because again, they broke out in song.
Yeah,
it was just the cadence, the singing aspect. You know what I'm saying? Like, I really appreciated that. It just made it a fun way to get gone off on.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Would you consider? And I know you don't get into it with people much. But if you did, would you consider, instead of just, being loud and proud with it, maybe singing it, having a tune, carrying a tune with the insult? That might be fun.
Yeah,
it would certainly put the other person off guard.
Put some Luther Vandross on in the background.
Oh, I love him. I saw a documentary, that voice. All right, we'll move on. And again, if anyone has additional information about that Karen who appeared to be having a breakdown, I'd like to know that they're maybe receiving some help. This one, though, has video too. Landlord caught falsely claiming she's being assaulted. Here we go. Viral video shows Colorado landlord scream and falsely claim she's being assaulted by a Black woman. I like stressing that because you know what you're doing here. A Black woman. Without seeming to notice, you're being recorded. Watch.
Oh my God, she's
charged up. Really?
My God, she's hurting me.
Really?
Really? She pushed me. Oh my head.
Really?
Oh my God, Michael, get the police.
That's when I started
She's
gagging.
pushing me. She's pushing me. She's kicking me out. Get the guys out. Oh my God, she's a psycho. She's a little psycho and pushed me out. And you record this. Michael, get the guy here. I'm gonna go do the garage door. Oh my God. She hurting me so bad. I'm gonna press charges against her. She killed me and pushed me up front. So I hit my head on this chair table. Oh my goodness gracious. Who are these people? Get the guy here.
Wow.
We're gonna get the remote control down. I came nicely to ask us, and she pushed me. You barged
Really?
me.
That's crazy.
You pushed me here. You pushed me over there. My son is recording everything.
You're not surprised. It reminded me, Jackson, of the movie Friday. Remember, was it Ezo? The character, my neck and my back, my back. Is what she sounded like here. Von Teese Wines posted a video on Facebook showing part of the confrontation with her landlord, Lisa. Oh my God, she's choking me. The landlord cries out, oh my God, she's hurting me, oh my head. Anderson didn't seem to notice that Wines' son was recording the entire encounter. You better record, folks. Here's what happened leading up to the confrontation. Wines told CBS Colorado that the confrontation started after Anderson, who also goes by Elizaveta Anderson, barged into her townhome March 1st to serve Wines an eviction notice. Townhome lease that Wines signed in November 2024 dictates that Wines always has until noon on the 1st of every month to pay rent. Late payments would result in late fees. However, in the months leading up to the incident, Wines said that Anderson would even text her often, a few days before rent was due, asking for the money. Every single month, she would text a couple of days early to try to get me to pay early, Wines said, adding that she tended to follow through because she always had the funds available. Then on March 1, things took a dramatic turn. Anderson showed up at Wines' home with a locksmith and an eviction notice. Day before, Wines said Anderson texted her a warning that she would be changing the locks on the property. It wasn't even 12:15 yet, and she showed up with the notice. I kind of thought she was trying to intimidate me because she had been texting me a lot prior, Wines said. I was completely shocked. The doorbell camera showed Anderson at Wines' front door with a locksmith drilling at her front door. Wines and her son have since moved out of the townhome and have settled into a new home where she says she feels safe. Anderson declined an interview with CBS, but doubled down on claims that Wines physically assaulted her in text to a reporter. She said she's pursuing criminal charges. Well, now you better be careful now. You might want to watch it there. Wines shared in her Facebook post that Anderson has remained committed to her false allegation. She actually went to the police on 3/10/25, 2:30 p.m., right around there, claiming to be me. And the police sergeant called me because they thought I was here in the main lobby wanting to speak to an officer. This lady is now walking around with a boot on and crutches from this fake fall on 3/2. The police came on 3/1 and 3/2 right after this fall and saw this video. She added, now that I've talked to other tenants, we all have this in common. She said, this is not fair. A lot of people are being hurt by this. Lena Black Star, friends there, cultivating another story for us. This woman needs to be stopped because her performance was not Oscar worthy, but it was, she could have been our Karen of the day. But yeah, this could really get people hurt. It ruins their reputation. Besides the weirdo stuff where you're demanding the money early, okay? I have tenants and I deal with issues. My favorite one, she might be late a lot, but I'm not gonna kick her out there. She always pays eventually. But then there's other ones who they're gonna destroy your property and this and that. This woman, I don't even understand. The law's not on this landlord's side, but never mind that whole thing with the lease, Jackson. This is very serious. False police reporting and intervention. People could get hurt or worse. Why do we tolerate this in this society? I probably know why, but I'm still going to pose it.
Well, this is definitely why checks and balances are important, because some people are just like this. You know, like some people are just very vindictive because they think everything's a slight against them because they have personality disorders are real. You know, like there's some people who unfortunately are in positions of power who you otherwise wouldn't really want to deal with. You know, I've learned the hard way through my experiences dealing with certain types of people. And in a variety of different types of ways. But, you know, again, sometimes you have to deal with people. And my favorite part of this, though, that she actually got on the ground to act everything out. You know what I'm saying? Like, so that she could.
She's nimble.
Yeah, exactly. So that she can make it feel more real. But again, like some people are just vindictive. And unfortunately, some of those people are in positions of power. So you just never really know when that vindication is going to come your way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And maybe I am too, because I'm going to tell you what I would do if I were Miss Wine. I'd take it to the max. I would get a lawyer and I would sue this woman. She's now on indisputable having to defend herself. No, granted, she has the video. But you're putting all this out here like she's beat up. I'm assuming the woman's older than her. And it's just sick. And I don't think it's too far of a stretch, so I'm going to keep saying it, that somebody could have been hurt. The police show up. We don't know what's going on. The woman's on the floor. Help, help, my neck, my back. It's sick. And I think we have to make an example out of people like this and make their lives really hard. You want to know what's hard? You got grievances, privilege. Let's show you what a little uphill battle looks like. That's just me. I'll give you the last word, Jackson.
Yeah, she should definitely lawyer up because this woman is just arbitrarily trying to punish her. And again, she got recorded, so it's like she just what is she really gonna say? Like, you gonna act like you actually got
She's
assaulted?
on crutches.
Yeah, like you gonna act like you actually got assaulted? Like, no, you recorded, on the ground pretending like you getting beat up and you're not. So she really doesn't have an argument. And again, unfortunately, sometimes crazy people end up getting in positions of power.
It's true. It's true. No more leases, no more tenants. This is Indisputable. Doc has the day off. Sharon Reed, Jackson White. We're right back.
Indisputable is still the fastest growing news show in America compared to CNN, Fox News, and 30 other networks. We tell the truth on Indisputable because the truth is indisputable. We go places that other news media outlets refuse to go. When there were human rights abuses happening at the Victorville prison, guards and members of the community contacted us.
You, through your investigative reporting, unearthed very troubling allegations about specific forms of abuse and discrimination in the federal prison system.
It really doesn't take much to be a trusted voice. All it takes is to be fearless, report on matters, be an advocate. I called it the bullpen intentionally because it's a place of preparation. We present individuals who may have an opposing view, so we debate. Sometimes we interview individuals because their stories deserve to be heard. A survivor of significant police misconduct and his attorney. We covered this story earlier, and to remind you of the horror of one man being shot at damn near 100 times by the police. We take time on this show to showcase the temper tantrums of Karens in the wild. We do this not because we want to see people's emotional outbursts in public, but because these incidents are emblematic of a bigger societal issue taking place across the nation, and it has to be checked.
My friend, my big homie, attorney at law, Benjamin Crump.
I just want to thank you, man. Educated, articulate brothers like yourself speak truth to power. It makes a great difference in changing the landscape in America. So
listen, no matter what you do, don't allow the politics of ideology to evaporate the soul that still exists inside of you. They don't stop, I don't stop. Racism won't stop, I won't stop. Systemic bias won't stop, I won't stop. People still need health care, so I won't stop. People still need criminal justice systems reform, so I won't stop. You won't stop either.
I'm wearing one of our pieces of merchandise. So the funny thing about the Dragon Squad, and that's what our viewers call themselves. That's the name of the group, but every individual chooses their own name. You might have Cincinnati Dragon. You might have Harry Potter Dragon. We have a Grandma Sunshine Dragon is one of those that I remember. These are people that like to have an element of themselves, their lives, what's significant to them reflected as a part of the community. But the concept of the Dragon Squad is just something I threw away as a joke. I was mocking the Proud Boys, these like right-wing groups that come up with a name for themselves that they think is cool, but it's actually really lame. And I thought, off the top of my head, I can come up with something that's still kind of lame, but much cooler. And so I threw out Dragon Squad, and I just moved on with my life. But everybody liked it, and so they kept it going, and so we've embraced it. And I think again, this was during the period of the pandemic. I think it was sort of nice to have a renewed sense of community, a feeling that you're a part of something when everything seems so chaotic. And as a result of that, we've got independent artists online streaming, making beautiful digital art of dragons. We've got, we've released a number of pieces of merchandise that people love sending us photos of them. And then, by the way, for me personally, people send me, like you can probably see in the background, like a knitted dragon someone sent me. There's a dragon book they sent me, dragon board games they send me. People have done like custom ironworks, making dragon bottle openers. Like the fans are super invested in diamond art and things like that. And so it's great that they send this stuff. Sometime we're gonna have to set up a wall of all of it. But yeah, it's definitely brought the community a lot closer together. The fact that we were no longer in this big studio, I felt a lot more personally attached to people. It felt very immediate. And I know that I personally needed the connection.
Welcome back to Indisputable. I'm Sharon Reed alongside Jackson White, who is our special guest co-host today. Dr. Ritchie has the day off. We'd like to think he's left the show in capable hands. I'm not Doc, I get it, but it's fun. Oh, look, let's get to some of your comments. Speaking of fun, Stephen Armstrong, I like your style. Sharon can take as long as her heart desires. That's not a good policy, I assure you. This could go on and on and on as I entertain myself. It's not really the purpose of the show. Trump Loy again. Jackson, my snacks, and a lot of fire emojis. And this must be fun for you because it's like you're not even trying. You're not trying, right? This is just who you are. And
it's
people
just
eat it
who
up.
I am. It's just who I am. You know what I'm saying?
Huh?
I can't help myself.
Well, there's more. Weldon says Jackson is adorable.
I'm adorable.
Yes.
Oh, well.
And Sharon is drop dead gorgeous. No close-ups, please, Weldon. Okay. You don't want to see that. But thank you. That's very kind of you. I've been told that sometimes I do too much self-deprecation. Is that what they call it? Where you constantly make fun of yourself. Mm-hmm. I enjoy it, but it's something I'm trying to be mindful of in 2025. But sometimes I see myself right now, and I think, you didn't comb your hair again. And then I know I'm going to do it the next day or not do it. Andrew Martinez, about that Karen who broke out in song with the insults. I think that was the trailer for Karen the musical. That would be fantastic, and I think Doc should produce it. Why not? Doc does everything else. Shouldn't Doc take Karen the musical to Broadway? This is incredible. That's a great idea, Andrew, and be sure to give you credit. Dana, Manny, most of those I know who work these types of service jobs actually prefer cash tips, WTF. That's what I was thinking, okay? If I have to use my card to tip, I always try to make sure I tip extra because it's really not fair, get taxed on it or whatever. A couple more for you. The landlord, Mac and Stitch, is this a double dose? Bernie the Kiwi Dragon, did she use the force? So this is the landlord who laid down and laid out. She deserves an Oscar. I don't think so, ADHD. I just think she's lousy. And Lynn, I gotta get you an actress. Karen sounds like she's ready to be on one of those commercials where she yells, help, I've fallen and I can't get up. They seem to have the worst actors on those commercials. They do. But each time I think, Lynn, when I get up there, I do want peace of mind because I know my daughter could be home and she's not gonna come, okay? So I have to have a backup. And I was thinking, I might need to purchase that. All right, another day, another firing by the Trump administration. This time, firing a senior Navy female officer who was on, quote, the woke list. I want to be on that. Trump administration fires senior Navy female officer at NATO, previously appeared on a woke list. According to officials yesterday, U.S. Navy Vice Admiral Shoshana Chatfield, the only woman on NATO's military committee, was fired over the weekend by the Trump administration. I mean, look what's going on in the world, folks. We need all hands on deck. Capable, looks like she's tough, fired. Although no reason was given, officials said it was apparently tied to comments she has made that supported diversity in the force. According to the officials, Chatfield got a call from Admiral Christopher Grady, the acting chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, and was told the administration wanted to go in a different direction with the job. Officials said they believe the decision was made last week by Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth. Doesn't he have enough going on? However, it was unclear whether he received any direction from President Trump. 3 U.S. officials spoke about the firing on condition of anonymity to discuss personnel matters. Chatfield was on a list of senior military officers targeted as woke by the conservative American Accountability Foundation, which sent a letter to Hegseth saying that purging the woke from the military is imperative. Chatfield, a Navy helicopter pilot who also commanded a joint reconstruction team in Afghanistan, had been serving as one of the 32 representatives on NATO's military committee. The panel is the primary source of military advice to the North Atlantic Council and NATO's nuclear planning group, according to NATO. Accountability Foundation complained in the letter to Hegseth that those responsible for DEI policies must be dismissed, adding that military leaders should be focused on cultivating lethal force, not on fostering diversity, equity, and inclusion in the ranks. So what were her previous remarks? She must have been something else, okay? Letter said Chatfield posted supportive comments on LinkedIn about a diversity summit and gave a speech in 2015 at Women's Equality Day. The group quoted her as saying that investing in empowering women could unlock human potential. And they also said she was quoted as saying, "Our diversity is our strength," a phrase that Hegseth has repeatedly condemned. Associated Press reports Chatfield is the third top female officer to be fired since Trump took office. Pete Hegseth announced in February that he was firing the chief of naval operations, Admiral Lisa Franchetti, and Trump fired Coast Guard Commandant Admiral Linda Fagan just a day after he was sworn in. A guy who we thought liked to be around the women, even if they didn't like it, they're disappearing. You know, and the infractions, Jackson, are so ridiculous. Infractions. I'm even sounding like there are no infractions, but this woke list, okay, all she reportedly said in 2015 at that Women's Equality Day conference or whatever it was called was supporting women's a good thing. And yet she's being called out like a regular Jane Fonda during the Vietnam War. And I like Jane. This feels like a communism. This feels like McCarthyism. It is. That you could just call somebody out. It feels like, this Salem witch hunt. And then they throw them, and if they sink, they're not a witch. If they float, they're a witch. So you're done either way. I mean, it's just, we're not safe, Jackson. We're not safe with this kind of chaotic behavior. We're not safe in any area. Name one area where we're actually safe since this guy took office.
Yeah, I mean, they own people not even safe. The way that they're disrupting everything, and woke list can be spread out into anything. Everybody who isn't, staunch MAGA, I guess they could be on the woke list. And and the stupid thing about it, among other things, is that you're making the military less efficient. Diversity, equity, and inclusion, particularly in something like a volunteer force, it's not about like, oh, we just need some more Chinese people in here because wouldn't that be nice? Wouldn't that make for some nice pictures? It's about teamwork. It's about unity. I've never been in the army, but like that's a very basic, generalized understanding that people have about one of the things that being in the military does for people, especially, if you're young, you 18 and you're just joining or something like that, you learn brotherhood, sisterhood with people who you otherwise wouldn't necessarily have even met or had relations with or have been integrated in their communities. People of all kinds become family when they join the military. So like, it's not like what you just want an all white military. I mean, apparently that's what they want. Like, and wouldn't that be more in the spirit of diversity, equity, and inclusion than just trying to get more people to join a voluntary force? Like, nah, we don't need no talks of diversity. Just get more white people in here. And again, how does that strengthen the military by making it more rigid and more segregated? It's all just a bunch of posturing, and it's stupid.
Yeah, it is. Of those 3 women fired, how many were giving war plans, attack plans on signal? I bet it's 0. I just assure me they would have been all up in probably a court martial. Instead, they're fired for saying, invest in women and help. That's my whole speech. Thank you. Applause. And now you're fired years later. But this guy who drove an organization into the ground, Hegseth, okay, who was accused of some real filth, denied it, okay, sexual assault, denied it, paid some kind of a lump sum or something or another. This guy is supremely qualified. Why? Because by birth, he's a white guy. A white guy. And she's a real one. So I don't know why you would do anything but uplift the legacy of Harriet Tubman. But then there's Trump's National Park Service, whitewashing the one and only Harriet Tubman. Journalist and deputy editor of HuffPost, Philip Lewis, reported that the National Park Service has reversed the changes to its website about the Underground Railroad following public outcry after they quietly edited its website about the Underground Railroad to remove key references and quotes from famed abolitionist Harriet Tubman and soften its language about slavery. Okay. First reported by the Washington Post, visitors no longer see the large photograph of Tubman nor a quote attributed to her where she describes herself as the conductor of the extensive network of routes and figures who helped enslaved persons escape to the North. Now the webpage, titled, "What is the Underground Railroad?" shows postal service stamps of abolitionist figures that emphasize black-white cooperation. Why does it have to be turned into what every Rocky movie became? Underground Railroad, the resistance to enslavement through escape and fight through the end of the Civil War, refers to the efforts of enslaved African Americans to gain their freedom by escaping bondage. The page once read, wherever slavery existed, there were efforts to escape. It has been replaced with lines that describe the Underground Railroad as one of the most significant expressions of the American civil rights movement and bridge the divides of race and more. And pardon? Black people, some of whom were caught, were chased down like dogs, lynched, trying to escape bondage and assault and all kinds of filth. Bridge the gap. Yet it also removed a reference to the Fugitive Slave Act of 1850, which required the return of enslaved persons who had escaped to their so-called owners, who had escaped their owners. Readers can see these changes via the Wayback Machine, an online service that archives past versions of websites. Washington Post also discovered several edits across other pages that softened descriptions of some of the most shameful moments of the nation's past by changing text from enslaved African Americans to enslaved workers, removing a page about the life of Benjamin Franklin and his relationship with slavery, eliminating the phrases systemic racism and historical bias from a section about Black soldiers who fought during the American Revolution. If it's not written, it didn't happen. Several references to the Declaration of Independence singer Thomas Stone as a slave owner were removed from multiple pages on the Stone National Historic Site, the outlet reported. Fergus Borwich, author of the 2005 book Bound for Canaan, Underground Railroad and the War for the Soul of America, slammed the changes as both offensive and absurd, telling CNN the website has been diminished in value by its brevity. Spokesperson for the Park Service gave this statement to the Washington Post. National Park Service has been entrusted with preserving local history, celebrating local heritage, safeguarding special places, sharing stories of American experiences. We take this role seriously and can point to many examples of how we tell nuanced and difficult stories about American history. Report comes after President Donald Trump signed an executive order that improper, divisive, or anti-American ideology must be removed from the Smithsonian Institution. Notably singled out the National Museum of African American History and Culture, prompting concerns from visitors and supporters about potential changes to come. So it's everywhere. We can't escape it. Harriet Tubman is not exactly turning over in her grave. She didn't expect any better. But I would think that others would. I wouldn't care if my ancestors were on the wrong side of history. I'd call it out. Just the kind of kid I am. And I don't understand why so much time, effort, and money is being spent to try to erase this history. Can't we and shouldn't we take a page out of, in this case, Germany's protocols? They don't want to forget that disgusting part of history. And they crack down immediately when someone colors outside the lines, and they're even thinking about, not doing it, thinking about moonwalking back. More of the same, Jackson? Should it be given such life, such breath, such time and energy? I mean, it is real.
I mean, well, it's definitely worth talking about because they're doing it. And I think that it's important to highlight the reality of the right-wing agenda in this country, and that racism is at the center of it. Among all the other isms, the sexisms, the phobias and all of that. But again, it's just kind of too late in the game for this type of tactic because we have the internet, and so you can scramble some stuff up on this website, but you can't scramble everything up everywhere. You know what I mean? Like it's not like the pre-internet days where the only access to information you had is whatever books were in the public library or university or whatever. It's not how stuff works anymore. So I say all that to say you really can't whitewash history effectively. Not these days. You can try. And also that just points out to how pitiful and pathetic these people really are. Like y'all are at the pinnacle of power in the world. Y'all have risen to be the most powerful people on the planet, and this is what you're doing. And again, like I said earlier in this show, for a battle that you long have lost. Y'all been lost this war. You still kicking and screaming, but you've been lost it. So it's just like, oh yeah, America. Actually, slavery was kind of cool. Like, that's the message you try to,
thanks, Kanye.
Right. Actually, like the horrific truths about how America became what it is. It wasn't that bad actually. And that's just about shielding the feelings of racist white people because it doesn't do anything good for the nation. Why is it better for the nation to not know how it really got where it is? Why is it's not better?
It's not.
It's just about I don't want to feel any guilt for how things are. I just want to believe that everything I have is based on merit. And it might be, but that doesn't mean that history isn't still alive today.
And I don't think you can squash it. And I don't think you can bury it, okay? This may be a trivial example, but it reminds me of MTV in its early days. Remember, they wouldn't play black artists. There's this famous clip of David Bowie, may he rest, questioning that. And one of these DJs or VJs, whatever they called them back then, saying, well, the kids in the Midwest, their parents don't want them listening to this, this music. They still listened to it.
Before they realized it was a massive moneymaker.
That's right. They loved it.
Before they realized that everybody wants to listen about black people killing each other and destroying their own communities. Like, oh man, we can make billions of dollars off of this. Let's get to it. But until they realized that, they were like, oh, I don't know if white people want to hear this. Oh, actually, white people love hearing about this.
Fully invested.
Can't get enough about listening about black people destroying themselves.
Right. MTV integrated. Thank you to Michael Jackson, by the way, who said, I want Thriller, I believe. Might have been Beat It, Billie Jean. I don't know. He said, I want this on MTV. I think it was Billie Jean. And they said, sorry, we can't, not even for him. Okay, and I want you to play other black artists. And it took a white executive at the record company to say, well, then I'm going to hold other people back. Culture Club, Boy George, Cyndi Lauper. And then they said, fine. And what happened? Oh, couldn't get enough of Michael Jackson. MTV was almost bankrupt at the time. They weren't the juggernaut you think they are. They're gonna get the history. We're gonna get it anyway. Yep. It's here, okay? I'd be fine with them forgetting about all of it, trust me. If moving forward, there was no need to remember it because everyone was treated respectfully, equally, promoted, hope, opportunity. But since that can't happen, we have to remember this. For some of us, discover it. This is indisputable. Sharon Reed, Jackson White, Dr. Richie has the day off. Stay with us.
What contributions to the progressive cause are you most proud of? I mean, I don't have super high aspirations for a singular role that I can play in the movement or anything. I try to present myself as what I think that I am, which is a progressive man who is driven by I think, well-interrogated and well-organized system of values that I try to stay consistent on, and I demonstrate that that's the sort of life that a person can lead and be successful and be happy and all of that. And that should not need to be done, but there are so many people on the right that are trying to push men in the opposite direction that I want to be able to do that. Along the way, if I can get people to care about some topics that they wouldn't necessarily care about, or that for some men they might think that's not a topic that they should be focused on, that's definitely something that I relish doing. And along the way, I mean, we've been able to introduce people to a lot of candidates. That's been a big part of what we've done. Not all of them necessarily got in office. Probably most of them did not. And a lot of them you might not even remember their names. But it was great to be able to provide people the platform where they had the chance of making a difference. Obviously AOC and all that, but there's been a lot of great people along the way.
In the bonus episode for the members, we do some inside baseball. We're gonna look at John's desk. Nice little spaceship here. Nerd. But it is kind of look cool. Who has Legos? Oh no. He's taken apart a keyboard. Who has a mouse pad that's this big? He's got a dog with a nose that you could hang something on. You know what this desk screams to me? Nerd. And that's how we like him. We love Johnny Pie. He's got his own personality like everybody does at TYT. Come meet us all in the bonus episodes. TYT.com/team. David Sorrell.
Dr. Phil.
Adam Green drop by.
Charlemagne.
Congressman, great to have you. It's great to be with you, Chang.
Your show is a great thing. You're informing people. A lot of the shows that I live on, my CNN, my MSNBC, and even Fox, and any of the other shows, NPR, they are so quick to decide that they know what this building means today.
The one thing that I hate that politicians do, they talk about the people they should be talking to.
Do they have any idea that they're the establishment and that they're hated? Or do they not realize that at all?
People are so deeply in their little universe. I think it's very easy to not really question what you're doing.
Voters have a right to ask questions of any nominee, whether they're independent, Republican, or Democrat.
The system is duopoly that suppresses competition.
How is it the year 2024 and we're still like, maybe they'll talk about paid medical?
Like
how is that like at one level it's like, good, what we're talking about it now. You're like, it's 2024.
And that's always been the critique, your critique of us is, well, you guys give good speeches, you put out good tweets, but you're not wielding actual power. Now we're starting to.
Yes. Congratulations on all your success. You guys are everywhere.
It's about a country and a principle, and that's what you and I both work to achieve. And I'm so glad that at least half the battle has now been won.
If you want to go really hear what's going on honestly, you should tune in to the Young Turks.
Thanks for doing such a great job. Please keep it up. Hang tough.
Yeah.
That makes me so happy.
Oh, I like making you happy.
I didn't know about
This
that.
is a happy Attic experience. You're welcome, YouTube.
Join the Dragon Squad by becoming a YouTube channel member. Click the join button below or sign up on tyt.com/join to get access to fun emojis, a member-only chat, exclusive shop TYT designs, ad-free watching, and so many other amazing perks. Plus, you get bragging rights for being part of the coolest community on the internet and help us drive real, positive change in the world. The Dragon Squad awaits, so join today.
Welcome back to Indisputable with Dr. Rashad Ritchie. I'm Sharon Reed alongside Jackson White. And if you could only hear our conversations in the breaks, I think you could help people because you're so open and so honest. I believe you can help people and they should just keep it going. Can the stream stay up during these breaks?
We'll have to do that for the members only. You know what I'm saying? When we get into the juicy parts of our lives and stuff like that.
Yeah.
We'll leave that for the members only.
Yeah, I think that, like I said, you're a very authentic person, and I think they'd say, "Wow, Snacks, and he's just like us."
I do my best.
No, you're all right. It's going to be fine. All right, let's get to some of your comments. They say you are. Now leave it alone. Take it. Take the win. Okay, TYT members. I have one. Mara Felsen, thank you for your contribution. OMG, Sharon, stop. You look better with no makeup than I look with makeup. I'm not going to let you do that, Mara. Okay? Stop it. You're cute too. I know you are. We all miss your live shows, Jackson. It was a great community.
Oh yeah, I haven't done any live streams in a while. I just been posting like videos and stuff like that.
Pop up for them.
I think I'll get back to live streaming over the summertime because by then I'll have a variety of my projects that I'm working on put out, and it'll be a good time to kind of like talk about that and stuff. So
but
I'll get back to that
too long,
soon.
even if you're just showing your face, because people want that, Jackson. They do. Republicrat. Has this to say, Representative Jasmine Crockett decided to run for president against Donald Trump in 2028. Who do you think would win?
Jasmine Crockett and Trump?
Yeah. How many drop boxes would be removed and how many blacks would be told no water breaks in the desert? I don't know.
No cookies.
Right. The naval officer fired for being too woke. Owen, the Schmoopy Dragon. I'd love to see these morons define woke, but really define what it means to them. B. Brown, how can someone who has never served in the military fire someone with more stripes than he'll ever have? Now, Hegseth served, but I don't, if he puts on one of those jackets, it's gonna have all those stars and stuff like the generals have. They did stuff, and they put it on them. I don't know if he has that. Over 9,000 enter the Dragon. Shout out to the Onion this morning with a headline: Harriet Tubman rebranded as human trafficker. Jesus. Satire is approaching reality. It is. That's what they will call her next. It's true. It's true. Appreciate all your comments. Appreciate you watching. Hope we're doing okay for you today. Let's get to this. I love a man with an English accent, and I don't know why. It's just how it is.
That's some of what we were talking about during the break, by the way.
Idris Elba. Black UK man falsely accused of theft despite showing receipt. So it is the same across the pond as it is here, okay? Black man in the UK falsely accused of theft while grocery shopping at a store he shops at every week. Watch.
I've literally just showed you I paid for it. It doesn't say the actual items, does it? It says £11.49. Oh my gosh. Laugh now. But when this is online, and this is actually doing stuff, you're gonna laugh now, but you see later on, you ain't gonna be laughing. So I was trying to untag the receipt so you can see, because I'm recording you right now. Get the receipt so you can see that I paid for it. Huh? Get the receipt. What's happened is that he's trying to do the whole mag thing and try to do the racist thing, but it's not working because I paid. This is not how you guys do business. In Morrison's, you shouldn't be doing this. Hey, you telling me I'm stolen something? Why has all this happened? Because I'm black, right? Generalize it now. Do not try and generalize it now. Because even your colleagues are sitting here wondering, why is this guy even waiting here? Sir, you see me here every week. I'm coming, thank you. Because you've tried this before with me. And this time you're not going to get away with it. This time you're not going to get away with it this time. This time you're not getting away with it. Thank you, my bro. But I paid. The system went back to the new customer. So why are you going this far into it? Why are you treating me like a suspect?
As tacky as this whole thing is, you're not going to get away with it.
Is she like them accents for real?
I do. And he was feisty, and he was powerful and brilliant, and he wouldn't let it go because he wouldn't let it go. He shops there every week, and yet this is what you're gonna do to a black man in the UK. Good to know. It's global, folks. I have to let you take most of the commentary here because I know it's childish, but when I hear that accent,
She just was thinking about
feisty with it.
Idris. It just made her think about Idris Elba, so she doesn't have much to say with this segment. That's all she got to say.
Adorable though.
But I mean, they were very adamant about like, nah, you definitely stole something. We gonna prove it. Show me the receipt wasn't enough. Show me the camera footage. Show me everything. We gonna find that you did this. But yeah, he was right. They didn't get away with it that day, and here we are discussing it.
Can we get him on the show the next time I fill in to do something live?
Sharon over here losing her mind.
Break during that segment. I want to get a coffee break, and I'll handle it one-on-one. We're gonna follow the story. I like how he was vocal, and I like how one of the other security guards says, "Yeah, he co-signed. You shop here every week, man." Yeah, okay.
He was like, "I'm just doing my job too, man."
Yeah. That was interesting and sad, and I'm sorry he had to get worked up like that, but I'm glad we put it on for you. This next one, I don't know why people have to show out when kids are playing a game. I'm talking about the adults, okay? It's a game. And now 3 adults are charged after a youth hockey game brawl. I understand that they fight in the pros hockey, but this just doesn't make any sense. 3 adults have now been charged after a brawl breaks out during a youth hockey game in New Jersey. That's starting to make sense. Okay, Jersey. 3 adults charged Wednesday after a brawl broke out during a youth hockey. What's wrong, Jackson?
People are just funny. People are just funny.
You're reading comments or something. I'm gonna get back to the show. In Jersey, according to Egg Harbor Township Police Department, the incident, which was captured on video, occurred March 29th when the Philadelphia Frenzy Cadet A team competed against the Maple Shade Cadet A team in the Veterans Memorial Invitational Tournament, officials said. Now, several youth hockey players started to get into an altercation, which escalated when parents and coaches ran onto the court, leading to complete chaos. According to Egg Harbor Township Police Sergeant Ben Coleman, video shows one adult falling to the ground, a woman jumping on top of that individual and repeatedly punching him. ABC News with the details. 3 people that are being charged were involved in most of the fighting, Coleman told ABC News. Others that were on the court, some people did go out there and assist to break up the fight, as well as assist to remove some kids and get them to a safer place. Philadelphia residents, Colleen Biddle, 41, Justin Pacheco, 38, along with Robert Schaefer, 38, of Maple Shade, New Jersey, have now been charged with simple assault at a youth sporting event and disorderly conduct, police said. Coleman said it was sad to watch some of the video and see some of the kids trying to pull their parents off of other people, and hopes that parents and coaches learn to control themselves. Both Philadelphia Friendly Hockey Board and the Maple Shade Hockey Board released statements saying they will be accepting any disciplinary action by the American Ball Hockey Alliance Board. The ABHA said in a statement that violence is never condoned in our sport, and that both teams are now suspended from the Veterans Memorial Invitational Tournament. Board also said a Maple Shade Cadet A assistant coach has been suspended from the ABHA. You know, the question is, have you ever wondered what causes sportsmanship problems in children's sports? Well, it's not always the players, is it? Survey found 39% of sportsmanship issues are caused by the parents. Just look at the numbers. Well, you don't get to the players until way, way low. The fans, if you had a beer or something, not that I'm excusing it, what are the parents doing here? They're looking for their glory days? Why are you doing this? Let kids be kids. They're trying to relive your glory. I know people like that who will drive their kids out of sports they love because they don't want to be embarrassed. Okay? I take my daughter in the drive pool lane, and before we even get down the block, she's turning off my music. Okay? That, and she doesn't want to hear one more time, they not like us. Okay, she's had enough. She says I ruined every song for her. I understand it was a while ago, but I like it, especially when he talks about Atlanta and the Mecca and little baby and them with, Anyway, this is hard to stomach. Why would you take the focus in this? And this is how I look at it as a mom, Jackson. I want to hear what you think, though. You're taking the focus and the joy off of your kids instead of letting them be kids and maybe even learn a hard lesson, like they lose the game, they have to be, have sportsmanship, whatever it is. Why? Who are these people that are so wrapped up in a youth hockey game? How pathetic.
Yeah, it reminds me of the South Park episode where Stan's dad, Randy, was fighting at the baseball game.
Isn't that dumb?
Yeah, Stan, his dad kept fighting at the baseball game. And yeah, that just is a great episode. That's what this reminds me of. Y'all should check it out if you haven't. But I mean, the reality is that emotional maturity is not necessarily correlated to your age. I mean, obviously getting older allows you to have life experience to help you mature, but a lot of people's ability to handle situations. I mean, we all may go through times in our lives where we're stressed out or dealing with things, and that may cause us to deal with life in unhealthy ways. But if you're generally in a healthy state of mind, your ability to deal with your emotions, to deal with conflict and stuff like that, a lot of that really is shaped by your childhood and your upbringing and like the examples that were set for you on how to deal with things. So, I mean, there's so many children in adult bodies, like adults who aren't, who are completely incapable of taking accountability for themselves in any real meaningful way. Adults who completely lack insight into themselves, don't really have the ability to get insight, and who, may lash out inappropriately if they feel angry or hurt or whatever.
But I guess I just wonder though, Jackson, some people never really fulfilled their childhood fantasies of, going pro and it's just like, I really feel like it's
kids hockey. Be like kids hockey.
And
let's
it's detrimental, okay? I think Tiger Woods is perhaps he'll go down as the greatest golfer in history. But don't you think looking back that some of the issues he's had, he was pushed. I'm not saying Tiger Woods doesn't love golf, he loves it. But Earl Woods and some of the focus that was just on the game, okay? But then you have Serena and Venus, who their dad pushed him big time, okay? But they're great citizens, they seem adjusted. I don't know. And it's not just, Black fathers. I didn't mean to just reference them, but they're top of mind as excellence in their sports. But I just think these parents, Tiger, hands off Charlie. They showed Charlie giving the same stance and going, how Tiger does that thing. Let them, if they end up doing that, fantastic. And that's what they want. And it's a bond they can share. But I just feel like, Jackson, these people are trying to relive. It's not your turn.
Yeah, they definitely they're trying to live vicariously through their children, I suppose. But like you said initially, it's kind of pathetic because it's like children's hockey. So it's like, Rob, I was a star player in the 4th grade. Like, I
was on top of him, punching him.
I was a captain of the hockey team in middle school.
Come on, I'm nominated for the homecoming court. All right, well, Jackson, again, don't make them beg for the live stream. You know what they want. Even just a few minutes. Come on, give the people what they want, Snacks, and tell us what you're up to as we're out of time.
Oh yeah, I won't make them wait for too long. But as usual, y'all can check me out at Politics and Paper on YouTube. I'm currently working on a series of documentary projects that I'll be putting out regularly. So that'll be some really cool stuff new to my channel that I'll start doing in I'm almost done with the first couple of them. And other than that, I still got political stuff going on. But right now, that's really the main place that you can catch a lot of my work. politics.
Well, you're too busy to do a show with me. I figured we could just anything goes. Maybe smoke a little.
I'm gonna have to get you in one of these documentaries. You know what I'm saying? I think that's what we'll have to do. But we'll talk about that another time.
All right, Jackson. Always a pleasure, and thank you, Doc, for allowing us to sit in. Thank you to the team who does so much around it. They do everything. What do I mean so much? They do everything. Marissa, Jordan, appreciate you more than you will ever know. This is Indisputable. Doc will return. We hope you'll join us again.